I'm Samuel Kaninda. I'm the Regional Coordinator for West Africa at the Transparency International Secretariat in Berlin. My talk was just to share some perspectives and insights in terms of corruption, the main corruption trends in Africa, and also how as civil society we're trying to address those, but also mentioning what the government is doing, governments are doing in the countries, and also looking at the African Union level, the continental level, what kind of efforts are being done or made to improve structures and systems, but also starting with laws. What are the legal frameworks at the different levels, and also what are the institutions that are playing a key role in the fight against corruption, and what are civil society organizations doing, and what could citizens do also to get into becoming part of the solutions. For us, it's especially in Africa, people can feel it on a daily basis because, and I mentioned it during my speech, that for access to basic services, many of them are subjected to paying fees that are illegal, to pay to people who are supposed to be doing that job anyway. So that's the level at which people are still on a daily basis affected by corruption. So our role is really to articulate these issues and help people understand that we cannot just put up with that situation and kind of learn to adjust, but we should really take a stand against it and be part of changing things so that governance can improve and that we can live in societies that really have people at the center of them. Resources that we have should really go to those who need them the most. So those are really the key issues, that corruption affects the very existence of the most vulnerable groups in society in Africa. And that can be seen, as I said, between the disconnect that you have, a continent that is endowed with natural resources and all sorts of resources, even human. You know, you have many educated youth, but who cannot find employment. And it's because the governance systems are not really structured in such a way that you can get development out of it. So it means there is no proper use of resources, and citizens cannot really play that oversight role to know how much their countries, or even at the level of local government, what kind of resources and the amount of resources they are generating, and how should those be spent. Talking about now this summer school, for me it's very relevant, it's very important, and it adds value to the efforts that we are trying to make to change the situation of corruption into countries where governance is transparent and accountable, because we're talking to leaders of today and tomorrow. So that's where we need to start, and even ourselves in Africa, we've placed great emphasis, and we continue to do so, on engaging the youth, because we believe, not only because it's the majority of the population in Africa, they are the ones who are most affected in the present, but in the future, because these abuses will still, abuse of power and resources will catch up with them. So for us, it's very key that young people from different corners, different sectors come together, share their experiences, and also how they could surmount these challenges. So like what we had right now, after the presentation, groups, people going into groups and actually trying to engage with a practical case is, I think, the way to go. Moving away from the theory, but really applying it to real life, and taking it back to our respective places and trying to implement it there. So a journey of 1,000 miles starts with one step.